Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Hello, welcome to News Tonight. In today's top stories, UPDF jet ranger crashes in Entebbe. The UPDF jet ranger crashes in Entebbe shortly after takeoff. One cadet trainee on board confirmed dead. Uganda set for first COVID immunization, first phase to cover 26.7 million Ugandans, while Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden talk over phone. Near perfect bleak signs out, UBC to elect new leader to replace William. Hello, once again, I'm Rodha Ngozi. We will dig into it. President Yoweri Museveni has directed the judiciary to provide nationwide judicial services up to the sub-county level. In this report, President Museveni had earlier reiterated his stand that since there are administrative units at sub-county level, including chiefs, forest officers, veterinary officers, and medical assistants, it would be important to have a judicial officer as well at sub-county level.
I, Margaret Appiah, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will well and truly exercise the judicial functions entrusted to me and will do right to all manner of people in accordance with the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, as by law established, and in accordance with the laws and usage of the Republic of Uganda, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
Today you've given me an additional weapon in my arsenal, but of course we ask for more. Our people need judicial service, and when you graced our new law here, the first president in this country, Your Excellency, to come and grace the important new law here for the judiciary. When you promised us that you would ensure that our people see the rendering of justice up to the sub-county level, you couldn't have given us a better prize than ensuring that our people of Uganda enjoy safe water, enjoy local governance, and similarly enjoy the administration of justice right up to their doorstep. You couldn't have done anything greater than that one that day. And we are enormously beholden to you for that.
For me, I would want to appeal to the judiciary that offenses like murder, like rape, those two, maybe even defiling young children. I think for those, even when we don't have enough resources, this one should always be got out of the way, because that one removes enmity from the society, removes enzugu, the vendetta. The vendetta. The other issue, the wrong, the land, the what, those are problems. But for the African mentality, certainly for the Banyankore, it is not the same problem like blood. So I welcome Justice Appiah to join the bench. Thank you for bringing also Lakwara. Apoyo Bino, Apoyo Teach. Thank you very much.
And one person has been confirmed dead after a UPDF jet ranger crashed in Entebbe, Wakiso district. A jet ranger which crashed immediately after takeoff was piloted by 2 cadet trainees on a mutual training flight. Brigadier General Flavia Biekwaso, the UPDF spokesperson, confirmed the incident and also identified the deceased as Captain Karo Sinje. The pilot, captain and cadet pilot Abdallah Weka, who is nursing injuries at St. Mary's Hospital, Chisubi. UPDF is still investigating the circumstances that led to the crash.
Traffic came to a standstill along Airport Road in Entebbe after a UPDF jet ranger crashed, leaving one person dead. The Uganda People's Defense Forces jet ranger with 2 crew on board dropped minutes after takeoff near Spina Beach in Entebbe, Wakiso district. Speaking in a phone interview, Brigadier General Flavia Biekwaso, the UPDF spokesperson, confirmed the incident, saying the pilot captain, identified as Karo Businje, died shortly after at Chisubi Hospital, while the cadet captain, Abdallah Weka, is still nursing wounds.
The pilot captain has passed on a few minutes ago, and the cadet pilot is being stabilized. The CT scan that has been made shows that he did get internal injuries, but is not yet very stable. The dead body is in Chisubi Hospital, and the cadet is also hospitalized in Chisubi. It was on a training session, so it was a mutual training flight, to use the exact words from the technical people.
Brigadier General Flavia Biekwaso says investigations into the circumstances that led to the plane crash have commenced.
It's subject to further investigations, really, especially about the cause. What could have caused this? Shall give the details in due course.
The incident comes just a few days after a UPDF helicopter crashed in Somalia, injuring 4 Ugandan soldiers. In January 2020, a UPDF jet ranger AF-302 came down in Butambala district, killing 2 soldiers instantly. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
The Supreme Court has given the petitioner and respondents in the presidential election petition filed by Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert timelines to be followed in the progression of the case. This was after the scheduled pre-hearing session failed to kick off this morning as the petitioner asked for more time to file affidavits. Our senior reporter Samuel Senono attended the court session and has more on this.
Hearing of the presidential election petition filed by Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert versus Yoweri Museveni, the Attorney General and the Electoral Commission has failed to kick off as planned.
For pre-hearing,
court had set aside this Thursday as the date for pre-hearing, but the petitioners asked for a rain check.
Is to have the pre-hearing session adjourned to another convenient date as you may be pleased, where we undertake to be more organized, prepared and definitive in how we move.
The Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo highlighted that the time frame for hearing and disposing the presidential election petition is strict and dictated by the Constitution.
It is really, really important that we abide by this timeline, because we may end up with a crisis.
To this end, he issued timelines that ought to be followed by all parties in this case. The petitioner has been given an additional period of up to Sunday, 14th February 2021 to file all affidavits. The respondents have up to Saturday, 20th this month to file affidavits. The petitioner has been asked to file all rejoinders on the 23rd of February 2021. On the 24th of February 2021, court will have the pre-hearing session. The 25th and 26th has been set aside for cross-examination and presenting of electronic evidence. The petitioner will on 27th of February 2021 file the written submissions. The respondents will respond to this on 2nd March 2021. The petitioner will file a rejoinder on the 4th of March 2021. On 5th March 2021, each party will be given 30 minutes to make oral submissions and 20 minutes for rejoinders. Court will then retire and use the duration of 7th to 18th March 2021 to write the final judgment.
So everybody will do everything that needs to be done to ensure that we keep within this time frame if we are to render justice in the matter before us.
This case, like many other presidential petitions all over the world, tend to be promoted as face-offs between lawyers from the camps involved. The Chief Justice advised against this. He also asked them to desist from discussing the case in the media.
The petitioner has chosen to come to court. He has not chosen to go and present his case in a marketplace. Leave the courts to do their work. And this begins from counsel. I have seen in the print media, I have seen on TV, some people appearing, we shall defeat this case. This is the forum where you can defeat the case. This is the forum where you can succeed to overturn the outcome of the presidential elections that was held on the 14th and declared on the 16th. Nowhere else.
The petitioner in this case, Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, alleges that the 2021 presidential elections weren't held in full compliance of the law and wants court to nullify Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's win. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has been warned against implementing a proposal to tax bank withdrawal transactions. The Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, calls for scrutiny of the proposal by Parliament before its implementation. This uproar results from a social media letter confirmed to be from the Ministry of Finance proposing a tax on bank withdrawals.
We would appreciate to receive your opinion and data not later than Friday, 12th February 2021.
This is the letter that is causing more alarm than whispers amongst the public. Confirmed to have been authored by Ministry of Finance, it proposes a tax on automated teller machine withdrawal transactions. The move has neither attracted nor been welcomed by the listening ears of members of Parliament.
Ugandans are paying quite big sums of money on mobile money, and it is because of the increment of that tax without us knowing. Madam Speaker, yesterday, social media was awash with another proposal to charge cash withdrawals.
Because we have seen so many things that have gone on without Parliament passing them, yet they are mandatory to be commanded or to take place after Parliament has allowed.
Whereas State Minister for Finance, David Bahati, says it is still an internal matter under consultation, the public wants answers.
That in line with the rules of this House, we
focus on something that is before the House or that is a proposal by law. But if this House is going to be discussing internal memos within the government department, it will be a tough job to do.
Maybe the minister should tell us, what should we tell Ugandans? That it's going to behave and happen the way it has been happening before, because beaten once, right, Honorable Speaker, you know what happens next. So Ugandans are crying because they know what is going to happen.
It is at this point that the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, has warned against actualizing the move before going through Parliament.
Can we have an undertaking that you will not implement this before you come here for our authority? That's what we want.
Madam Speaker, we have never implemented any tax before the approval of Parliament, and we shall never implement any tax measure before it is approved by Parliament.
Currently, Ugandans part with some tax on some mobile money transactions. Members of Parliament do not want to see this happen to bank withdrawals. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Your safety while using electricity starts with having a certified technician to wire your premises. Do not use Camille
Pocket. Chisaka, now that the wiring is complete, how do I get power?
No. I'll get you power in my own way. And you don't even have to worry about the bills. I'll bring them myself. Is your neighbor there?
She went to work.
Does she have power?
Yes, she has.
If your neighbor has power, you have power. Desist from illegal connections because they are not only dangerous, but could lead to prosecution and death.
Chisaka, what is this? Oh my God, I'm from Umeme.
I did not say Umeme. I am from Umeme. At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Tonight. The Ministry of Health is preparing to conduct the first phase of vaccination against COVID-19. The first phase will cover a total of 26.7 million, categorized as vulnerable, representing 20% of the population. Diana Kuti has more.
Uganda has placed an order to the Serum Institute of India for 18 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine to kickstart the vaccination against COVID-19.
After careful scientific and logistical considerations, Uganda opted for the AstraZeneca vaccine from Serum Institute of India because the vaccine technology has been tested for over a century, and the vaccine fridges in our health facilities meet the storage temperature requirements of 2 to 8 degrees. It is for the same reason that the Chinese vaccine is being considered for use in Uganda.
Though the delivery date of the vaccine is not yet known, the Ministry of Health confirms that the plan is to start with vulnerable population of 26.7 million people, which is 20% of the country's population.
35 to 40% of the vaccine, which is 1,420,800 doses, will arrive in the first quarter, which may be any time before the end of March. And 60 to 65%, which is 2,130,000 doses, will be available in the second quarter, which is any time between April to June.
However, the private sector in Uganda has not yet been cleared to participate in COVID-19 vaccination. The mutation of the virus is presenting new variants, a factor that might interrupt the vaccination process globally.
And you should know that always these viruses change, they mutate. Yeah, it's common for these viruses, especially the RNA viruses. But what has been strange with the variants the minister talked about in UK, South Africa, and Brazil, there were many mutations at the same time, and some of these mutations were in the spike protein, and they are leading to an increase in transmission. And for South Africa, leading to non-sensitivity to the vaccine. The recent viruses we have sequenced in Uganda, we are also seeing mutations coming in, including mutations in the spike region. We have not seen the variants that have the 501 mutation that has been reported elsewhere, but our viruses are also mutating. And what we are going to do is to continue monitoring.
Studies are, however, ongoing in laboratories around the world to confirm whether these variants do not respond to the vaccines. There are now reports that AstraZeneca vaccine may not be effective against the South African variant. Scientists may therefore change the composition of the antigens and the vaccines to address this or use alternative vaccines.
On a good note, Uganda is experiencing a drop in the number of COVID-19 cases, but the Ministry of Health still warns the public against being reluctant, saying another wave of the pandemic has been predicted.
The falling numbers, therefore, represent a punctuation consistent with our seasonal variation patterns that is likely to be followed by emergence of what we shall consider as the second wave.
Uganda's cumulative number of COVID-19 confirmed cases stand at 39,911 and 328 deaths. Adia Nakute, UBC.
Yellow, how are you? Tell me, how do you do?
We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Sent you for today, and they sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say thank you, thank you, thank you, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN Mobile Money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
The day the world stopped,
was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good. The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Shopping needs, come to Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Stretcher Road, opposite Makere Business School along Port Bell Road, Duster Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
Business news. Government of the Republic of Japan, through its embassy in Uganda, have given Uganda a grant worth $36.8 million to help in the building of roads, infrastructure in the refugee hosting communities of West Nile region, northern Uganda. The implementation of the project will be overseen by Japan's implementing partner JICA in partnership with Uganda National Roads Authority, with the funds channeled through the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, where the agreement was signed.
The 3.82 Japanese yen grant, worth 109 billion Ugandan shillings from the Japan government, is intended to support the construction and improvement of national and feeder roads, plus a bridge in refugee hosting areas of West Nile sub-region, with an aim to promote economic growth and improvement of livelihoods of the people living in the communities.
In addition to being an important link in the response to the refugee situation, the road as well facilitates cross-border trade between Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Republic of South Sudan, and the Central African Republic by connecting one of our districts called Koboko and Yumbe and the Moyo Road, which also proposed to be for upgrading to pavement standard. Therefore, upgrading the road to Class B status will improve accessibility. Improved access will greatly aid activities related to provision of services to the displaced persons in the refugee settlements, among others.
The grant will prioritize to upgrade 23.6 kilometers of Yumbe-Manibe Road in Yumbe district.
So there is a lot of work we are doing together, and as you know, they've given us quite a big tranche of equipment, and also supported the construction, the upgrading of Gulu City Town Road. So there is a lot of activity taking place, and we're very happy to have partnered with them.
The planned implementation period for the project is estimated at 55 months, which amounts to almost 4.5 years.
Government of Uganda can build a new coral bridge, and lastly, improve feeder roads. As Your Excellency mentioned, we will use a labor-based technology, which is very unique, especially designed to build skills and create employment for the refugees, as well as people in the refugee host community.
To improve the road condition, will make transportation faster, smoother, and safer. Trucks, cars, and boda, of course. Yes. And This is not the first road project in that region. We had similar projects in the past, and we also had some projects to improve the living condition in those areas, like making schools, clinics, etc.
Approximately 280,000 refugees are settled in West Nile, where Bidibidi Refugee Settlement, one of the biggest refugee settlements in the world, is located in. The recent inflow of refugees from South Sudan has increased pressure on the socio-economic infrastructure. On the sidelines, Finance Minister Matia Kasaija commented on a consultation letter making rounds on social media about taxing bank withdrawals.
Tax on withdrawal of money, I'm hearing this for the first time. I don't know where you're picking it. Yesterday we were talking about tax measures. I have not seen it as one of the tax measures. I'll check with my tax office. Do we have anybody here from taxation? None. I am hearing it for the first time.
Wadulo Mark Arnold for UBC News in Kampala.
In sports, Uganda Olympic Committee will on the 27th February 2021 go to the polls to seek who replaces William Bleek at the helm. Bleek has been Uganda Olympic Committee president for the past 10 years, first in acting capacity and later serving his mandatory 2 4-year terms. As he winds down his term of duty, our reporter John Barnes engaged him on various subjects.
About 10 years ago, William Bleek assumed the Uganda Olympic Committee presidency, but first in acting capacity after a transition that exited Rogers Dungu.
So I found UOC at its lowest point. One, internationally, were not recognized in good books, simply because the people who were representing UOC at the time never attended meetings. Work was not being done on the ground in terms of commission activities and other activities you're measured upon, and we're not producing results on the field. And that was a very difficult time for us to pick up when you're in minus.
During elections 2 years later, William Bleek triumphed and immediately set out to deliver on his manifesto.
And I particularly remember with the capacity building, they cut, I think, $12,000 from our grant because we had not done that activity. In other words, money was received, but the activity wasn't done. So it was a very difficult time for us to be able to start managing an organization that was not functional. So one of the first things we did, which I had in my speech, was to realign the organization and say, where do we want to go? And that was in form of a strategic plan. And we involved our members. We had a consultant come from the IOC. We identified our strengths. We looked at our weaknesses. We decided to concentrate on opportunities using our strengths. And we very clearly at the time said, look, Uganda is a small country. We will not perform immediately in major games, but we can decide to administratively work on governance, work on capacity building, do commission activities, and then do other administrative related things to ensure that the Uganda Olympic Committee is recognized.
The results from years of sustained hard work have been close to 2,000 Ugandans trained in sports administration and a better constitution that guides procedure. Onto these, one can add performing
social distancing. You can still exercise while in this COVID.
But like they say that all glitters isn't gold, Bleek regrets a failure to get UOC its own home and is inconsolable when relating to fraud that hit the body recently.
One of our objectives was to have a home as an Olympic Committee. I feel bad I have not been able to achieve that. I thought if we had a good working relationship with government over the last 8 years, we should have been able to acquire land through government or even be given this place by National Council of Sports, and we were willing to get funding to build offices and we go up. Unfortunately, we did not have a good relationship with the Minister and Council over the last 8 years. So those are some of the weaknesses that have held. And of course, the recent financial issues that we've had with our accountant was also a downside on my side administratively. But we're working on that, and you know, the issues of fraud sometimes cannot be blamed on you know, the leaders. It's individuals who take advantage. But because we had a system, we've noticed it, and we're working on it for recovery.
During his call of duty, William Blick held positions on continental and world bodies. Presidency of Africa Zone 5 and representation at Anoka was followed by the best of all, which is IOC membership that he carries on with. John Burns, Sentamu, reporting.
And now the top stories once more. A UPDF jet Ranger crashes in Entebbe shortly after takeoff. One cadet trainee on board confirmed dead. While Uganda set for first COVID immunization first phase to cover 26.7 million Ugandans. On the international scene, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his US counterpart Joe Biden took over phone. And in sports, near perfect Blick signs out Uganda Olympic Committee to elect new leader. That does it for now for News Tonight. I do return at 10 o'clock. I'm Rodha Ngozi. I'll leave you with the weather updates with Molan Kenyana.
Yes, I'm glad to have you join me. A very good evening. My name is Molan Kenyana, and I will be taking you through tonight's weather report. Well, after a couple of days with mostly sunny and dry conditions, we had some rains throughout last night into the early hours of today morning. We had Jinja reporting a total of 18 millimeters, Kampala 12 millimeters. We also had some light rains from Lira totaling up to 2 millimeters. Now, looking at our satellites, we still have those dry winds coming in from north of our continent, mostly through Siberia and Sahara Desert. That is bringing us hazy conditions, most especially across the northern sector. Now, at the same time, we're seeing that we have those rain-bearing clouds extending towards our country, and that explains the rains that we have mostly across parts within the southern sector. Now, Friday morning brings with it mostly a bright and sunny day, and that will be across much of the country. We do have sunny intervals, though, across Midwestern, and rainy conditions are forecast across the central part of the Lake Victoria Basin, and thunder showers for the western part of the Lake Victoria Basin. Later in the afternoon is when we expect more rains across southwestern Uganda, a similar trend across the Lake Victoria Basin, but also in the country we can expect to maintain sunny intervals. Now, our daytime highs, we have a maximum of 28 for Kampala. A very warm day across Soroti, we have a maximum of 32. And warmer than that, though, even across northern Uganda, we will see a maximum of 33 degrees. Now, looking at some of the cities we have for you across the world, we are forecasting sunny intervals for Mombasa. A very warm day at 30 degrees. We're also likely to have Moscow going below freezing point, with a snow forecast at negative 13 degrees, and a sunny day is forecast for Dubai, as well as Paris, with Dubai going up to 28 degrees. And that nicely brings us to the end. Thank you very much for keeping us company. Have a good night.
You're on Initiative Africa. My name is Asha Sampath. Welcome to this new edition of your weekly magazine featuring Africa on the move through smart innovations and initiatives that work. Let's get on with the show with our top stories today. We met Mouma Ndiaye, a Senegalese professional football player currently playing in Ligue 1 in Luxembourg, a role model for everyone as he did not forget where he comes from and supports the inhabitants of his old neighborhood in Senegal with his association Cœur de Yarak, Heart of Yarak. He's our guest today.
My heart is with the people of this neighborhood. I want to give them everything I can for everything that they've taught me. I owe them a lot. It enables me to develop today.
Time to end decades of agro-pastoral conflicts. It's a reality that is beginning to take hold in Togo thanks to mediation between local chiefs and country leaders.
C'est le conflit foncier qui est toujours cité en premier lieu. Donc cela voudrait dire que c'est la source des problèmes dans la région des savanes.
Football to the rescue of slums. In the suburbs of Nairobi in Kenya, this club combines sports and social mission to help young people.
If you're going to get something from the community, you should be putting something back into the community. And that's where we made it into a community development project using football as the starting point.
Conflicts come in many forms, but they all have one thing in common, an enmity that can dash hopes for progress and peace. In the northern savannah region of Togo in West Africa, farmers and livestock breeders who once fight, sometimes violently, for access to land and water have found a way to coexist in peace and harmony through mediation efforts at local, regional and national levels. Coming up, the latest report in our continuing series, Voices for Peace, inspired by the African Union's Silencing the Guns initiative. Take a look.
Quand moi je suis arrivé, lui, il était avec les bêtes dans le champ en train de manger. Les bêtes mangent, lui, il est à côté, il les regarde. Quand je suis arrivé, je lui demande, devant toi là, tu vois, c'est quoi là-bas? Et puis, c'est comme ça. C'est là-bas qu'il m'a tapé. Dans un de mes villages vers l'ouest, à Pétila, les bouviers sont rentrés dans le champ et c'est un maraîcher qui a fait les tomates. Il a fait ça sur un bon espace et c'est de ça qu'il vit. Bon, dans un premier temps, quand il est retourné sous l'effet de colère, il avait le coucou. Il y avait un petit taureau qui était là, il a haché carrément. Et le bouvier a sorti son coucou. Ils se sont pris, hein, ils se sont pris. Il y a eu du sang qui a coulé.
Il y avait un climat vraiment conflictuel dans beaucoup de localités. On a constaté, ou bien on a vu, une violence de grande ampleur dans la préfecture, dans un village de la préfecture de Thone, où des communautés entre Moba se sont affrontées, entre les peuples bouviers et les autochtones gourmandiers, où il y a eu également même des morts, hein, des morts d'hommes. Il y a eu les cases brûlées.
Nous sommes arrivés ici, on a voulu essayer de les interroger. Le bouvier, il ne voulait même pas obtempérer pour qu'on voie comment ça a commencé pour voir à la solution. Il dit que les bœufs étaient tellement nombreux que lui seul ne pouvait pas d'un seul coup les faire sortir.
C'est le conflit foncier qui est toujours cité en premier lieu. Donc cela voudrait dire que c'est la source des problèmes dans la région des savanes.
Quand il a vu son taureau avec les coucous que le jeune, et là, lui, il est gardien. Qu'est-ce que lui va signaler? Qu'est-ce qu'il va dire à son chef qu'il a demandé? Lui, on n'a qu'à lui dire ce que ça coûte. Et le jeune dit non, lui dire ce que ça coûte. Il faut que moi, en tant que chef, il faut que j'aille moi-même voir. Oui, on devrait faire la paix. Si il a pu payer pour les champs, là c'est fini. Tu les laisses partir. Lorsqu'il n'a pas payé si le champ, l'affaire est toujours là-bas. Là, il a fait une facture de 345 000 au bouvier. Et nous aussi, nous sommes rentrés dedans, on a concilié en demandant pardon aux jeunes, jusqu'à ce qu'ils soient entendus. Et il a donné 95 000 plus 10 000 francs pour aller se soigner. Je ne s'est pas arrêté là-bas, j'ai appelé le président des Peuls. Je lui ai expliqué la situation qui a prévalu dans le village à Akpéi. Lui, il a essayé d'appeler tous ceux-là qui opèrent chez nous ici. Ils sont venus des délégations de chaque village. Et depuis ce jour, ils ont décidé de ne jamais se promener avec les couteaux. Si tu es là, il est bouvier actuellement, quand vous les voyez aux gens, ils n'ont plus les couteaux sur eux, mais plutôt les bâtons. Rares sont ceux-là qui tiennent les côtés.
Je crois que lorsque vous raisonnez et vous leur donnez des explications, les gens finissent par comprendre et se rendre compte qu'eux-mêmes, ils n'ont pas été du tout propres avec eux-mêmes et qu'ils se rendent eux-mêmes coupables de la dévastation de ces animaux. Donc ils comprennent et nous essayons ensemble.
Au niveau des cantons, cet organe est appelé Conseil des sages de prévention et de gestion des conflits fonciers. Leur rôle consiste à faire la prévention et le règlement des conflits. La prévention, c'est à deux niveaux. Premièrement, leur rôle est de sensibiliser la population, de faire des alertes précoces, c'est-à-dire en agissant sur des sources potentielles des conflits, en sorte à les résoudre en amont, avant que cela ne devienne véritablement un conflit ou un litige. La troisième chose, c'est effectivement de jouer le rôle de médiateur et de conciliateur. Lorsque deux parties sont déjà en litige, alors ils interviennent pour vraiment amener les deux parties à s'entendre.
La médiation, la conciliation, elle reste le seul moyen pacifique. Parce que tout le monde ne comprend pas que la gendarmerie peut aussi concilier. Mais puisque c'est un corps habillé, l'on peut partir facilement de la gendarmerie en prison. Donc nous pensons que la chefferie est un moyen beaucoup plus pacifique pour la médiation lorsqu'il y a conflit entre peuple, agriculteurs et bouviers.
Généralement, nous réussissons à concilier les parties. Lorsque les parties sont conciliées, nous débouchons sur une entente qui peut promouvoir la paix en famille, la paix au village, la paix entre les communautés.
Next week, our Voices for Peace series will take us to Libya, where voices are being heard against extremism in a country beset by civil war. We will meet Zahra Langhi, president of the Libyan Women for Peace platform. But right now, let's welcome our guest, Momar Ndiaye, this Dakar native who currently plays in the First League in Luxembourg, was born into a family of footballers. He took his first steps in a training center in Senegal before leaving for Europe. He shared his story to Lionel Cochois, a reporter who met with him in Metz in eastern France. Hello Momar Ndiaye, you are a Franco-Senegalese professional footballer. You have had a great career in France and internationally. You're currently playing at FC Rodha in Luxembourg. You have created Cœur de Yarak, an association that helps young people in Dakar. What's your story? How did you get to where you are today?
Bonjour, donc je suis Momar Ndiaye comme vous l'avez dit.
Hello, I am Momar Ndiaye, as you said. I play football for FC Rodha in Luxembourg.
Donc oui, donc j'ai créé l'association Cœur de Yarak pour
I created the association Cœur de Yarak to help the children from my neighborhood back home, something that is dear to my heart because it's a community that has given me everything. So I want to give something back. It's thanks to this community that I am who I am today because I did everything there. I learned to play football there, and I really became someone in the neighborhood.
Donc si maintenant je pars en Europe pour jouer au foot.
I play football in Europe and representing this community, that gave me everything. And so that's how I got the idea of creating an association to help them. As I often say, I can't go to every house to give something, but creating something for this neighborhood allows me to help everyone through education, health and sport too. So that's how I came up with the idea of creating the association.
C'est là que nous est venue l'idée de créer cette association.
Is football a passion?
Yes,
it is a passion. I'd even say that football is in my blood. My grandfather was a footballer, my father was a footballer, my uncles, everyone in the family played football. It's a sporty family. So when I was born, inevitably football seemed a natural choice. I just needed to apply myself and work hard to become a footballer. The passion's always been there.
Can you take us a little back to the time when you were still in Dakar? Can you remind us about your career? You graduated from a training center in Dakar, is that correct?
Oui, c'est ça. Donc, j'ai été formé à Génération Foot.
Yes, exactly. I trained at Generation Foot in partnership with FC Metz.
J'ai été formé là-bas et puis après je suis arrivé à Metz dans le centre de formation.
I did my training over there and then I came to the center in Metz. When I arrived, the training went well. I trained for 3 years in Metz before turning professional.
Avant de passer professionnel à Metz.
How was your integration in France and was it difficult at times?
Bon, l'intégration s'est bien passée. Donc, quand je suis arrivé du
Integration went well. When I arrived from Senegal, I joined the FC Metz training center. Everything was great, and therefore I integrated very well. The group and the center made me feel welcome. And I had a nice accommodation. I did everything that was expected of me, and it went well.
En gros, ça s'est vraiment très bien passé.
About it being difficult at times? Well, yes, it was. Because when I left Senegal, I was very young. I was 14, 15 years old.
Donc forcément, c'est un nouveau monde.
It was a new world that I didn't know. So I obviously missed my family not being around. No longer having the routine that I had in Senegal. So those were difficult times. Sometimes I would finish training and feel homesick. I would cry and then pick up the phone and call my mum and dad. Those were hard times, but it taught me how to be a man, because living without one's parents is important too. Some advice, if I can call it that. We won't have our parents around all of the time, so inevitably at some point we have to learn to live without them. So that did help me become a man.
You haven't forgotten your old neighborhood. What are the reasons for your commitment?
Les raisons de mon engagement est que j'ai envie de rendre.
Why am I so committed? Well, I want to give back to the neighborhood what it gave me, because I am who I am thanks to this community.
C'est le quartier qui m'a fait, c'est le quartier qui m'a vu naître, c'est le quartier qui m'a...
It's the neighborhood that made me. I was born here, and this place allowed me to grow and understand many things. So now I want to help them. Because as we say in Africa, we have the idea of mutual support. We're always here to help each other out. If someone's in need, if you can help them, you try. For me, I want to give back to my neighborhood, as I said. What I always want to say is my heart is with the people of this neighborhood. I want to give them everything I can for everything that they've taught me. I owe them a lot. It enables me to develop today and then come back and be able to help them.
Et de toujours revenir dans ce quartier et pouvoir les aider.
You're on Initiative Africa. Welcome back to the second part of our show. Let's remain in the world of football and what it can bring to society. This Kenyan sports club is not quite like the others and is located in a large slum on the outskirts of the capital Nairobi, where 90,000 people live without access to water or electricity. Its goal, help underprivileged youth through sports and activities and community services. Sporting success and stimulating life experiences are the results from this inspiring initiative. Take a look.
Mathare is one of Africa's biggest shanty towns. This huge poverty-stricken neighborhood in the outskirts of Nairobi, Kenya, has every characteristic of run-down inner cities, criminality, drugs, AIDS, and millions of tons of household waste endangering the health of local residents. It is also home to the Mathare Youth Sport Association, a sports club that has transformed the day-to-day lives of thousands of local youngsters and the people of Mathare.
If you're going to get something from the community, you should be putting something back into the community. And that's where we made it into a community development project using football as the starting point. After discussing various options, one of the worst things in the slum is the uncollected garbage. because that kills the kids.
The idea was both simple and effective. Football gave local youth a healthy framework and a goal helping the local community. One Saturday per month, each team takes to the streets, swapping shin pads and football shirts for shovels and picks to tackle the piles of rubbish. In 1987, there were 27 teams. Today, there are over 1,000 with 14,000 players. Now Mathare is officially the biggest youth sports association on the African continent. Unofficially, it is also probably the continent's largest refuse collection organization. Victor is 16. He has been playing football for as long as he has been able to walk. He spends 1/5 of his training time cleaning Mathare's gutters with support from the local inhabitants.
They give us an encouragement. So they say that that is good work we are doing. And we are so happy to do this work because we are trying to help our neighbors. It's hard to get somebody trying to take papers, cleaning around. It's very hard. So it's our pleasure to take this opportunity to clean for people.
Mathare Sports Association has its own championship with a unique point system. A win earns you 3 points, spending a Saturday tackling trash earns you 6. Victor is one of his generation's rising stars. The trophies in his bedroom are surely the first of many.
I'm here. This is our coach. Yeah. We stayed in Holland for 1 week. We played friendly matches that we won all of them. This is the medal that we won. It was a tournament in Norway, so we took the first place. This is my shelf where I put my books. I study from here.
The Mathare Development Project has been a spectacular sporting success. Just 10 years after starting the association, they have a professional Premier League team that has won the Kenyan Championship several times. In the space of a decade, they have notched up a number of trophies and are the envy of many long-established clubs. Victor is competing for a selection to take part in an international tournament in Norway. The Norway Cup is a World Cup for under-16s, a title his club won in 2003.
I want to produce the best players. I want to make them to be the best. Before I win the tournament, I have to develop their skills first and then to win.
Having successfully completed stage 1, the aptly named Victor is now one of 40 players shortlisted. 2 more tests stand between him and a place in the squad of 20 players with a chance to shine in Northern Europe.
I know that he can go ahead because of his determination and because of his ability and because of his discipline so far. He's a very disciplined boy and he wants to do that.
I'll just wait for the next day until the last time. When I'm being selected for the last time, I'll celebrate.
At Mathare, sport is above all a life lesson from the turf to the top. The club stays true to its mission to educate the youngsters. The directors are democratically elected by each team, and the average age of the staff is less than 30, a first in a club of its importance.
From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there and they never tasted this good.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by
Wake up to Good Morning Uganda, weekdays on UBC.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Was brought to you by Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Thank you points. The more you use, the more Thank you points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you. This weekend on UBC.
There is a very special message that is coming from Hammam Spa and Saloon, who are saying that this Valentine's Day they have you fixed. Come and have the best spa treatment in Kampala. Sikulimba, Sikuwairiza, these guys are ultimately the best.
There were no tears.
They do pedicures, they do manicures, they do body scrub, they do hot stone massage, one of my favorites. They do facials, they do, you know, you guys have seen exactly what they do. Now, you can contact them on these numbers, right? The first one is a landline. It goes by 041 467 1775, or contact them on the other number, that is 075 502 7205. If you ever felt like the world is against you, this is the show for you.
I spent 6 months nga magulu bagawanise
and
ekiromisana all the time.
Administering this too much dosage on you, like what was happening during that time?
Not really. Their main aim was to balance the legs. I remember, I think it was primary one. I had a sister of mine. She used to take me to school because I couldn't walk myself there.
Coming soon on UBC. Food is more than just a great meal. It's even better when it's prepared with art. The Big Kitchen, coming soon on your public broadcaster, brought to you by...
Because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Brought to you by...
Your Health Chart is brought to you by National Medical Stores, who are mandated to procure, store, distribute essential medicines and medical supplies to all public health facilities in the country.
Good evening, it's You Health Chat, proudly sponsored by National Medical Stores. My name is Sophia Matovu and I'm sitting in for Dr. Henry Dongo. The second Monday of every February is observed as International Epilepsy Day. Around 50 million people worldwide have epilepsy, making it one of the most common neurological diseases globally. It's not too late for us to talk about it here, given that this special day was supposed to have been commemorated on Monday the 8th, but this did not happen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With me in studio is Dr. Hasfal Kwata from Ministry of Health. Doctor, welcome to the show.